Before we head down there, we still need to be responsible, and I need to clean my flat. But let's get done with so that I can talk to you about the coolest country in the world. Boom! Why do people smoke this stuff? Terrible, I don't smoke. This is just a prop. Today we're gonna talk about how the US was possibly the coolest country in the world. Boom! Cześć ludzie! What's up people? Hola! VIGO'S Dad here. Welcome to another episode. Hold on, let me take this off. This was just for the intro so that I can look cool. You see? Because I'm gonna talk about cool. Country that is cool. That's lame. Not that long ago, I recorded an episode titled How Europe Killed My American Dream. And on that video, I just gave you a little bit of history about myself and kind of like how I ended up in Europe and how that was not the original plan. Something interesting that happened on that video was that on the comment section, so many people commented and expressed how America was not this great country that they thought they were, and how Europe was so much better. Reading all those comments really made me think, and I was like, we have to admit that at some point in history, America was possibly one of the coolest countries in the world. I wanna tell you why I think that's the case. Let's begin. Just for clarification's sake, I wanna say that we're gonna talk about a period that in my opinion was the peak of America, which is kind of like the 90s.
We're talking Facebook.
Where the planet would see the rise of the World Wide Web.
There's one word that comes to mind whenever I think of the US in that period. Influential. When you think of the word cool and a person or a place being cool, what comes to your mind? To me, it's like an attraction that I feel towards that person or that thing or that place, and I feel like I want to be close to them. I wanna do what they're doing. I want to imitate whatever it is that they have going on. There's no denying the influence that the US had on the rest of the world. We have all seen all the videos of the old USSR and Russia when communism fell, and how the lines for people wanting to try McDonald's once it hit Russia, and people wanting to try this product from America. And to me, that speaks volumes, because you have a country that not that long ago had a ideology that was completely opposite to the one in America. They felt attracted towards those things. And that's just one example. In Latin America, seeing cans of Coca-Cola or Pepsi-Cola, oh my God, it was not enough to just have the actual product. You wanted to try whatever it is that the Americans were doing with the product. Even if you have it, doesn't matter. Yeah, cheese is cheese, but Americans have the American cheese that comes in the little square things, with a plastic wrapper, and you put it on a sandwich and it fits the square sandwich perfectly. It's like, man, how cool is that? So the influence of America on the rest of the world is something that still to this day can be felt, can be seen. It's something palpable. Yes, of course, the Brits were the original English speakers, but the rest of the world was not speaking English because of the Brits. The world is speaking English, kind of like as a second language, if you will, because of the United States of America. Once the American cinema became international and reached all the corners of the world, or American bands or artists such as Michael Jackson, I think that it's undeniable how the American culture just spread and became such an influential powerhouse. The second thing that, in my opinion, made America such a cool place was how diverse it is. It's a melting pot of different cultures. People from all over the world ended up in America, and they built their little communities. You go to New York and you have a little Italy, you have Chinatown, you have a little Jamaica, you have, we have Dominicans, we have our own little corner up there in Washington Heights. But not only in New York, you have places in California, in Texas. The building blocks of the America that we see today is rooted on immigrants that came from all over the world. Of course, I'm not gonna go into American history and talk about how the Native Americans were there originally and all that stuff, which is just pretty complex and not pretty. Let's admit it. People coming from Europe, from Germany, from England, Ireland, of course, South America. And what you find in a place that is so culturally diverse is that you look around and people don't look like you, but you feel like you belong. There are so many people from so many different parts of the world. They converge in there and they have a unity, if you will. And that's exactly what happened, but on a larger scale, in a country scale in the United States. The third thing is the lack of a pyramid system. Now let me explain. If you go to a place like England or India, for that matter, you will realize that there is a pyramid, a social pyramid, that exists everywhere. But there are certain echelons or certain levels of that pyramid where if you were not born into it, then you're not gonna get there. You can reach as high as you want to reach or can reach, but you will never be part of, let's call them the blue bloods. People that are born into a lineage that would open certain doors exclusive just to them or to this group. It is undeniable that in the US, people can go from the very bottom level all the way to the very top. There are so many self-made individuals living in this country. In many countries where this pyramid exists and is in those upper levels have the locks so tight, it doesn't really matter if you have money, it doesn't matter if you have education, if you are a person that knows how to behave, you are in the inner circle, quote unquote, they still will not let you get into the inner circle. Look at my swimming wear. I have a happy face. Number 4, the land of opportunities. Say what you will, but I've lived already in, 5 countries. I have family living in the United States, at least back then, right? I don't want to talk about what is happening right now. I'm not in the US right now. I actually haven't been to the US since 2015, 2016 or something. At least in the 90s, early 2000, this place was just booming with opportunity. You could start your own businesses. You could work in different companies, multinationals, because it was the place where everything was happening. You have to keep in mind, this is a huge country full of immigrants that precisely came to find a better life. The thing that happens when you are an immigrant and there's someone that has done exactly what you're trying to do now or has gone through what you're going through, they open their arms to you, they help you, they say, hey, listen, brother, I know what you're going through. And I don't really know how many countries in the world would allow that level of self-improvement. There must be opportunities presented to you in order for something like that to happen. Number 5, which is related to opportunities, is how in the US they were very open to new ideas. It's a country of innovation, and especially in those times where if you had a new idea, people wanted to listen. If you had an idea that was interesting, that was cool, possibly profitable, people would pay attention. They would sit down with you for a coffee. They would say, that's actually pretty good. I know someone that might be able to help you with that. That's why the US market was flooded with products that sometimes they seem so dumb in the sense that they solve a problem in a manner that is so easy that you go, how come I didn't think of something like that? How come? It's because it's so simple. I still remember watching on one of those, what was it, on cable television, the one where you, late at night, where they show products and they're selling you things, the sale channel. You had this mop in a bucket, and the bucket had this little stick, when you would just pull it, it would clean and rinse the mop, and you wouldn't have to get your hands dirty, squeezing that thing. Now, that is so yeah, that's everywhere. But back then, in the 90s, that was like, whoa. Why do you think the US has so many innovators? Elon Musk, Steve Jobs, Bezos, what is the other one from Facebook? Zuckerberg. And listen, I'm not gonna talk about the morality of those individuals, you know, that's something else. But you cannot deny that they were innovators. They thought ahead of their time and that they implemented ideas that were new. So being open to new ideas was, in my opinion, one of the things that made America a really cool. And number 6 and last one, how in the US success is celebrated.
You be relentless! You be telephone fucking terrorist! Now let's knock this motherfucker out of the park!
There's no shame in being a successful person. There's no looking down on you. Why are you saying that you're good at this or you're good at that? You should be quiet. Now, don't get me wrong. I do like that in Europe people are usually down to earth and they're not egomaniacs, and for the most part people are pretty reserved when it comes to their success and what they're good at. But that's not always a good thing, because sometimes there's a little bit of this kind of like low self-esteem vibe. And there's also a little bit of envy, just a little bit, where if you see someone that is becoming very successful, it's like, why are they becoming so successful? Why? I don't understand it. And I know that this is very complex, and it kind of varies depending on which country you're talking about in Europe. But if we're gonna group Europe and we're gonna say America, then yes, in America you can express your success. You can get on top of a building and say, wow, I just achieved this and I'm proud of it. And because you can do that, you encourage innovation. People feel that they want to become a better person. They can work on that, or they can try to raise their family livelihood and status because it's okay, it's accepted. Actually, it's encouraged. You should strive for more. I think the fact that you can showcase your best version, I think is fantastic. Now, don't try to hide the bad things and put it onto the rug and just, you know, present a facade. No, don't do that. I don't agree with that. And remember how we talk about being influential?
Influence that the US had on the rest of the world.
Well, I think that precisely because America was this country that always showed the best version of themselves, it rubbed off on other countries. Other countries also wanted to show their best versions. They learned marketing. Americans are marketing geniuses. They show you something in a way that you go like, wow, that is the best thing in the world. And at the end of the day, don't you want to show the best version of yourself? You should always try to show the best version of yourself. Boom! That's all, guys. That's the end of the episode. I hope you liked it. As always, the comment section down there is all yours. Please let us know, give us your opinion. Just keep it respectful, of course. If you have an anecdote, if you have stories, whatever, just let us know. If you don't agree with me, it's also perfectly fine. Remember, at the end of the day, these are just opinions. I'm not an expert on anything. I am just, expressing my opinions on my YouTube channel. See you next week, and adios.